We're here for the conversation. Relate the message the best way we know how. All we want is the facts. Or some answers to some questions that's being had in society and amongst ourselves. We give our personal views of it. I don't know. Doesn't matter.
No matter what?
Doesn't matter our personal views. Does it really matter?
Our views? No. Our opinion and shit? Don't really care.
Right. Our opinion.
No, who fucking care about our opinion?
I know, right?
It ain't about opinions and shit. It's about information.
Yeah. Straight to it though, man.
Time to finish what I started. It's a beautiful feeling to know I put my heart in. I'm all in. Picking up the broken pieces. I done had my share of lessons and no life a teacher. This beat be talking to my soul like it was a preacher. This for them late nights on the road, so turn up your speaker flow, call, turn up the heater. Bet on me, go all in. If I try and I fail, I'ma try it again. I won't stop until I win. Time to finish what I started. It's a beautiful feeling to know I put my heart in. I'm all in. Everything I wanna know, I'm really about to have it to it.
Straight to it. We was talking earlier. We look up some things, some little talking points that we had as far as what we're gonna start off.
Critical race theory.
CRT, ain't that what they call it? CRT? What they call it? CRT, you know?
Yeah, man, CRT. Critical race theory.
So, point. You break it down. I'm gonna let you break this down. The critical race theory. What's the point of critical race theory?
Allegedly, critical race theory is presented as we gonna look.
Grab that trick.
Kind of like the you know how they say they're gonna study reparations.
Excuse the noise. But you say that again. How they say they're gonna study reparations?
Yeah, it's a joke. They're gonna study. There's a bill to study reparations. So, like, if you think about that, it's nuts. You study the situation, then you come up with the bill to pay niggas if it's worthy. But they writing bills to study it, to analyze whether or not, or all that stupid shit. And I think critical race theory is another extension of that. Like,
what a relation? It's a relation to it.
Nah, it's the approach. Just like they had no intentions on paying the reparations, that's why they came up with a bill to study it. That's like, first of all, bill is just introducing an idea of something. yeah, this is some legislation we want to pass. And people look at it like, anybody wasting their time on this shit. Whatever, but that's the first stage of it.
What, of critical race theory?
No, the bill.
No. Let's stay on critical race theory.
I'm trying to paint a picture. So, it's an insult to tell somebody that they're going to write a bill to study what you have a grievance with. You study it, then you introduce the bill once you see that it's worthy of being, something is worthy of being implemented. You know what I'm saying? To tell somebody you're gonna write up a bill to study what they have a problem with or issue that they have is nuts. You don't have to write a bill to study something. You study it first, and then that's when you analyze whether it's a worthy cause enough to actually do something about it. You know what I'm saying? So, critical race theory is the same thing. Like, we know America is racist as fuck. Niggas had fucking no colors allowed. They didn't allow niggas to own houses. Didn't allow the niggas to buy houses and serve all this other shit. So it's obvious systematic racism and shit. So why come up with a whole new term to study something that's been around since this motherfucker been around? Since these motherfuckers showed up.
Instead they put it in, they making it into a subject for school to teach to the kids, to teach as a subject in school. What is that? How do you see that beneficial?
Because you have history classes, American history. Instead of coming up with a whole new curriculum called critical race theory, just tell the fucking truth in the first place.
Yeah.
How do you expect people that been, systematically and methodically rewriting history as it goes, how do you expect them motherfuckers to, they're gonna go back and get the true books out the closet and shit, and you expect them to do that? If they doing anything less than that, then it's a lie, right? So how they gonna even present a new history of where we've been with, without telling the truth? It's just more lies that sound better. You know what I'm saying?
I know exactly what you're saying.
Like, there was free black people that would get caught in a certain spot and just become slaves, nigga. Based on what? Based on their color. Strictly that. We seen the movie, whether or not it's true and shit and all other shit. 12 years a slave. That man was a free man, minding his business and shit, and they just came through and was like, yeah, okay, we own you now.
How do you expect the person that you're teaching?
And motherfuckers backed it up.
How do you even expect the person that you're teaching is to even how do you expect them to take it?
Take what?
To take what they're hearing. How do you expect
who to take it?
The people you're teaching it to. The people, the racists.
The racist?
Say the racist white man. How do you expect him to take that teaching?
Fuck how they take it. If it's the truth, it's the truth. That's not the issue.
No, I'm saying if they not giving the truth, which what they have been doing. They keep doing it like they've been doing it, or trying to rearrange it, sway it another way, into another lie, then how do you expect them to take it?
Who?
The white racists.
The students? Who?
Mm-hmm.
Who?
The students. The next generation.
How you expect them to take it?
Yeah.
Who cares how they take it? Like, that's not the issue, how they take it. Truth, if it's history, it's history. They teach people shit now that if it's the truth, then fuck your feelings type shit. They still gotta teach about Genghis Khan and shit. Murdered millions of people. Hitler and shit. Murdered millions of people. They still gotta teach about them people regardless to the feelings. It is what the fuck it is. You know what I'm saying? This whole, even black people, man, like, I kind of get it, but it's still weird as fuck. Like, niggas got a problem with it. The whole critical race theory thing. For the same reasons white people got a problem with it. They don't feel like you need to, make people mad and shit. You know what I'm saying?
But that goes back to, you know what I'm saying, that follows up to what we were talking about as far as the comparing, you like to say niggas, but black people's problems in America compared to others.
You like to say niggas. I don't like that.
And who determines, you know, what is a problem? Who determines what land is what? Who determines this shit? Is that all, you know what I'm saying?
See, that's kind of that's the real issue. There were treaties made, right?
Right.
It got to go back to that. Because you got to go back to the beginning. Regardless to what beefs and shit black people have with white people, and white people have with black people, and Indians and all that shit. What fucking, because it all go back to law and shit. That's the only way you can keep shit, you know, somewhat civilized, is to have documents that both parties agree to that they gotta live with, you know, they gotta live with. So if you come up with a treaty and shit, and you know the white people ain't got no track record of see, and it's not as simple as they don't honor the treaties.
It's not that they don't honor the treaties.
No, I didn't say that. It's not simply that it's not, you know, that they simply don't honor the treaties. It's subterfuge. You know, what's the word? Subterfuge. It's a lot of, you know, tricks and shit in the game. You know, so alright. Oh man. Fargo. Chris Rock was in the last season of Fargo. And at the end of the shit, he made agreements with, he was a mob boss, like the black, you know, gangster back in the day. Not even gangster, just business. In order to run a business, you gotta be what he was back then. You know, bootlegging and shit, whatever the case was. But you know, so he had beef with the white people, you know, back in like the 50s or some shit. And, you know, they went back and forth and shit. And they finally came to an agreement where they signed, you know, agreed to, shook hands on and all this shit. And the end of the show came out and, you know, Chris Rock supposedly lost such and such property or whatever in the agreement. But it was only a little bit. He only lost a little bit. And the white dude at the end of the shit came through and was like, yeah, you know, oh man, we survived all this crazy shit that happened. You know, oh, I'm glad we made an agreement and shit. So, you know, everything is taken care of and shit. But, you know, let's just go through these last few little notes. You know, they agreed for him to give up like 20% of what he owned. You know what I'm saying? After all the bullshit happened. But the white dude who, you know, had more power than him in the bigger scheme of things came through and was like, yeah, I know we agreed to all that, but instead of giving me 20%, you're gonna actually be giving me like 80% of what you own. And he started naming off all his business. So that means I now own blah blah blah. I now own blah blah blah. And homeboy's sitting there looking like, what the fuck? Like, what you mean? We had an agreement. I'm like, yeah, I mean, you could fight me, but we'll just keep coming. You don't have enough firepower to stop us. So we might as well give it up because we're gonna keep coming. You know what I'm saying?
Bully. They bully him out of it.
Big bank take little bank, nigga. Like, you know, so with that being said, it's like they approach as military. They understand the importance of military, and that's what they invest all their time and money in. Get in the military, so whatever we do, whatever bullshit we come up with, we have a military to back us up. That if y'all don't like it, we'll just blow y'all whole shit up and present it like y'all did something crazy and we had to retaliate type shit. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. That's kind of how it been. You know, Ain't no real honor in conquering. I guess.
You said ain't no honor in it?
Yeah, because why make the agreement? If it's just about domination, and what the fuck do a man have to hang on to if he make an agreement with another man and he just say fuck the agreement, we're just gonna take the shit over? I don't really know how that whole thing works.
But I guess there's some truth to that then.
What's that?
Some truth to that's their truth, how they do what they do. Because it's always been shown. It's always been shown how they do what they do, and that's the truth. They telling they truth.
But if that's the case, what the fuck point is there to fight?
Who?
Who what, nigga? What you mean?
What's
Who
the point
what?
of who to fight?
Nigga, you listening? What you mean? Who what? What's the point of fighting? Are you the same? Were we both here at the same time?
Right. For the truth.
No, for a fucking a place to call your own. That whole thing. Like, ultimately, that's what we all fight for. Like, right? To feel safe and secure. Like, not necessarily safe and secure like that, but respect and shit like that. I treat you how you treat me, that whole thing.
Yeah,
you treat me how
we were talking earlier too about counterproductivity, about things being counterproductive, and how it's productive to the person that is benefiting. Now, if you want to talk about what's counterproductive to black society, niggas, or we
don't be adopting some shit. Don't be saying that shit. Like, use your little words. African American, Black American, Negro.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah, being counterproductive to black society, I think there's some kind of production going on both ends. Or, like you said, I guess it wouldn't be counterproductive to whoever it benefits. Man. But that just goes to show that if you're not against it, then you must be with it. Even on the
but it's not that simple.
Even the other race. For each
that's
race.
what I'm saying. It's not that simple. What the fuck is the point of fighting, nigga? When you get that news, if you Chris Rock, what do? You done lost all these people, soldiers and shit in this war. You finally come to agreement with these people. I don't want to lose no more men. You don't want to lose no more men. Let's come to, some kind of fucking whatever. Stalemate or fucking truce or whatever. And you thinking you gained something in the process. Because you lost a lot. Fucked up business for a minute, lost some people. And you get to the table with these people after coming up with an ingenious plan on how to win. And they come back to the table, you won, nigga. Like, you know what I'm saying? And these people come to you and they lost the same like you lost, but then they got a whole nother external backing from, the mob. So you're talking whatever percentage of America and Italy and all these other people that make money from the mob and shit against you. I don't know. And they come to you with the news like, yeah, I know we agreed to such and such, but
we was talking about counterproductive. Even going all the way back to the whole critical race theory, is it counterproductive to Well, you kind of already answered that. If it ain't the truth, then it would be counterproductive.
But, you know, the intent. What's the intent? That's my question. That's what we talked about earlier. You know, it's presented like they trying to do something for us, right? But they are them, so they know how they are. You know, systematic white supremacy knows why they, you know, changed the history and covered up shit and rewrote shit and, you know, wrote legislation the way it did and the whole prison thing, and they know why this is the way it is. So how are you gonna come later? Not later, now, like this shit is still going on now. How you gonna tell on yourself? How you gonna tell on yourself to help us out? You know, without first, because I don't ever expect them to be truthful. You know, right. I don't ever expect them to be sincere. That's right. Not their track record. That's not how they do things.
Let me ask you this. I know earlier I had said something about I said the phrase coded language.
Fuck that shit, man, with all that other crazy shit. So going back to this, let's stay on this, man. You know, we talking the intent. What's the reason for it? Now, after all this time, I believe it's all about pissing white people off. All Black Lives Matter has been about is pissing white people off. That's the intent. That's the reason for it. That's the reason they doing it. It's a small tactic in the bigger game.
That's an interesting concept to piss white people off.
Yeah, not simply just to make them mad, but to make them feel justified in how they respond or how they move. You know what I'm saying? Don't nothing piss a cracker off more than niggas doing better. Don't nothing piss a cracker off more than knowing niggas is doing better, and it's either without their help or, you know, with their help.
And that's what I think
with their unvolunteered help, meaning tax money.
I think that's what I was kind of well, I don't know. Maybe I don't know. Maybe it wasn't, but the point I came up with earlier, I think I kind of said it wrong earlier in this broadcast. But we was talking earlier. I was saying, how would you expect the students to react? I was talking about black students. When something like this happens and you just made a point that they hate to see black people do good, you in class and you teaching that, wouldn't that call, I mean, I felt a certain type of way really in class when we was talking about that shit. You know what I'm saying? When we was talking about the stuff.
All right, well.
And these kids nowadays, they're not taking that bullshit. They go, hey, white boy, you better sit your ass down or chill out. You know what I'm saying? If he's trying to feel some type of way, being taught by this, and not in these subjects is being taught by white teachers, that's gonna be.
They're gonna have a real problem teaching it,
right?
And they voice their opinion
if they do it.
And that's the point.
I know some Republicans they don't want it.
Nobody.
And that goes back to what you was talking earlier about how they Republicans and Democrats. Oh, the Democrats is for this, that, and the third, and they got all these organizations. It's like every organization almost is ran by Democrats.
Well,
and Democrats is pushing this CRT. I know we talked about it a lot, man. It flowed differently when we was talking about it earlier, but trying to put it together now. This is the rawest. I guess it's better raw, but now we're trying to, put it back together how we had it earlier. I'm trying to catch you up on how we was going with it.
That Black Lives Matter was all about throwing that shit in white people's face. Like, who benefited from Black Lives Matter? The whole movement.
Black Lives Matter.
What happened while that whole thing was going on?
People from Antifa benefited.
It's not real, man.
Okay.
Antifa ain't a real thing. Antifa is just a.
Well, I guess the Democrats.
Like Black Lives Matter. Some
of the Democrats benefited from it.
The what?
More politicians benefited.
Yeah, a lot of people donated to the cause. So people, the organizations made money, but what happened from it? Like, you got all this shit going on at one time, man. The whole Corona thing and all this shit. The whole money thing, shutting all the businesses down and shit. White people is pissed for good reason. Like me, somebody who kind of see through the shit. Like, I ain't never fuck with none of the organizations because it don't make sense to me. Just like this critical race theory shit don't make sense to me. Like, so I'm not pissed off about it. I don't give a fuck either way because they ain't never showed me nothing to believe in.
Nothing different.
Yeah, like the same things that have been happening, still happening. But it's all just like, lacing, party shit going on outside. Shit is weird, man, but if you're a white person who've been told a certain thing for all your life, and now they say they're gonna start coming clean, like, if you're just an ordinary white person, you like, what you mean? I don't agree that we should be coming clean at this point. What you mean? Like, that's like you work at a company and your company been doing fucked up shit for 30 fucking years. And everybody's in cahoots and everybody getting paid from it. And then all of a sudden, out the blue, the CEO called a meeting like, yeah, I'ma just confess to everything we did and I'm giving all the money back. As an employee, you looking at him like, what the fuck you mean? It can't simply be this. You can't simply just say 30 years, say fuck these last 30 years and all the money we made and all the potential money we got to make doing our foul shit. And now you just gonna come clean, nigga? That's not even American, nigga. That whole thing ain't American.
So you saying it's to get people riled up again, just to keep the rallying going? So you saying they being disingenuous on two different levels?
Yeah, what's different?
Because not really the information, but the action is disingenuous. The action of it.
There's so many different levels to this shit, man. Because you got the whole globalization thing. Like you got all these things happening at one time. Like they going global. Slowly but surely they're doing away with that whole, sovereignty thing. You know what I'm saying? Euro, making all the European states come together with this Euro thing. Everybody got euros and shit. It used to be, francs in France and pesetas in Spain and lira in Italy. Now they all got euro dollars and shit, having to use that bullshit money to conglomerate, condense everything down to, you know, instead of having your city and state and country and blah blah blah, it's just a block, one big spot. You know what I'm saying? So that same thing is kind of happening in America, man. It's just taking longer. Our Constitution and shit don't really allow for that whole thing. They, you know, it's kind of constructed to not be that. Damn, I just asked to be anti all that. Sovereignty is important, so you know, I'm getting off the point of shit, but you know, so you know, this is a smaller part of that. That pissing white people shit off is more about making niggas the scapegoat for everything else that's going on. Instead of paying attention to how they fucking up the economy and shit, be mad at the niggas, cause we helping them niggas out. It's kind of silly, really. It's not all that complicated, really, but you know, these motherfuckers understand they work on emotions. They work on emotions and shit. You know, that's the one thing, like, if things were fair, I would be a conservative. I think like a conservative. Even though I'm broke and shit, me being broke is more an indication of my rebellious, like you know, self-sabotaging behavior. Like the whole thing where I gotta be a certain way to be able to, you know, this is just my,
be you.
Huh?
Be you.
No, I'm just my experience with life and shit. Like you know, you want to be something, you got to be a certain way. You got to act a certain way in certain environments. If that wasn't, you know, a thing, I think I would have been better with it. Because I worked in different fields, man, where if it was just about merit, you know, talent and shit, I wouldn't have no problem. But it's always the other shit that I just say, be like, fuck that! You know what I'm saying? Like, having to behave a certain way around these people and, you know, all of that old bullshit, you know what I'm saying? I just always had a problem with it. You know what I'm saying? I always had a problem not just being able to be myself and shit, do what the fuck I want to do outside of the whole thing, and be able to come in and be successful in what I did purely for that. And it has, you know, a lot of it has something to do with race in my head. You know what I'm saying? So, if that wasn't the case, I would be a straight fucking conservative, because I'm, you know, conservative and liberal, that's all about, you know, we multi whatever people. So I'm liberal in some things and conservative in other things. You know what I'm saying? Liberal, like, socially, I'm liberal. Like, I do what the fuck I want to do. Like, you know, I couldn't live like an accountant or something. You know, do the same shit every day. So go home and eat fucking at 6 o'clock and all that. I couldn't live like that. I'm an artist. I got an artist mind. Like,
so is the way that how things are being orchestrated? Is that you think that's the reason why you have to act like that in certain situations?
White society, nigga. Like,
right. So that's why. So I come to this. You know, it seems like you're saying that, especially with this CRT, since we're talking about that, amongst other things, that these things are planned out in a way.
What is?
And I believe we've said this before, that these certain actions are planned actions, written out, thought out agendas.
Of course, man. What you mean? Like, I think that's a good question, because think tanks. They got think tanks that plan stuff out for years to come, and you know, cause like I was saying earlier about it's like, man, a OG told me years ago, I'm 15, 18 years ago, that
if you look at it, every 7 years, 11 years, something fuck up and happens that just crash the market. Shit starts to, you know what I'm saying? And if you do the timeline, you see that shit. I mean, just saying, considering our time, I would say it started around noticing it around about Reagan. But you can do the timeline later on and see the difference with shit too. Even because, I mean, shit, we 42 minutes in, man, we still got a lot to talk about, even with the whole civil rights, women's rights movement. Like, shit just was playing out within those years, those 7-11. So the agendas that are being played out makes you start to critically think, like, what is the next fucking move? CRT is a move. Start thinking about the 2030 agenda, which is what, the next 10 years, 9 years? And you implementing something, trying to get something started within that time period. I mean, I don't know how long CRT or critical race theory has been a theme.
Not long, man. No exoneration.
Yeah.
Yeah, what that mean?
I'm just saying, it's like once one thing happens, they start on the next thing for that next cycle. Getting it prepped.
Yeah, I always wonder, man, how that shit work, man. Cause
I think we done kind of, put a finger on it. The think tank theory.
Oh, what?
Or the think tank idea.
What about it?
You got think tanks that's putting this shit together. And then monitoring the actions of people. Like you were saying, seeing how they gonna react to this, monitoring the actions of people and playing off people's, like you said, emotions. And running it just like that. Screenplay, just like that. The agenda.
How you feel about
even with the treaties and shit, all that shit was probably agendas.
What?
Global agendas. The UN, all the motherfuckers is, involved. But you say what? How do I feel about what?
How you feel about they so smooth with it, man. Like
smooth? Shit, them niggas is killers. We was talking earlier about Malcolm X.
What?
They killers. You talking about smooth? That's some smooth shit.
Do what?
You said they smooth with it.
I'm talking about how it's so gradual how they do it. They don't seem that smart, but they're good at what they do.
I told you they evil geniuses. You got some evil geniuses out here.
They just know people, they don't know people. They do know people don't pay attention, but it's more that they make sure that people don't pay attention. They have everybody data and shit. They know what everybody do. Phones and shit. And it's just getting more integrated, man. Like fucking appliances in the house and shit, watching you and shit, monitoring what you do. All that shit is being monitored, man. Smart meters and shit. They got all that information so that they know every move you make. Not that they know, but they can if they need to. It ain't necessarily about monitoring. It's more about just, acquiring and holding on and shit. So when the time comes, they just do type of shit and they see everything about you.
Hoarding information.
Well, yeah, that.
Or just like you said, monitoring. Yeah, that's what I was saying.
They need to keep it all.
How they monitor people's monitor the emotions, the psychological, aspects of it.
It's more than just watching at this point. They already had it figured out. They already know because of these phones and shit.
Right.
It's all about numbers and shit. Everything on there is documenting everything on that motherfucker. So all they gotta do is tap into that, and they know everything about your life. Even the shit that you don't want people to know, but you still be putting on your phone and shit. You think ain't nobody gonna see it, but they got access to all that shit. So if they know everything about you, it's nothing to control you. You know what I'm saying? Like you say that 2030 shit. That's what that shit is about. Everybody information. Like going off the grid, nigga. When you say go off the grid, nigga, soon that shit ain't gonna be possible. The world ain't that big, man. You know what I'm saying? Like we talking about 5G, 6G and all that shit. It's all about getting everything closer and closer together so they could watch everything. The whole idea of 5G is instead of a tower over here and a tower a couple miles away and shit, towers every couple fucking houses and shit, a tower. So it's more, concentrated.
So they can be more connected with you.
Yeah, and what is
faster.
What is that going to do to people? Like, if you living in the country and shit, and you don't have no 5G tower where you at, and you got kids, and they used to 5G going super fast and shit, downloading in a second and shit, and you go in the fucking country and shit, and your service is alright, but it ain't super fast because you ain't got the 5G towers. You know what I'm saying? Kids gonna be on your ass and shit like, oh man, what's up with the shit? Alright, so we gonna have to get our 5G shit out here, get our shit straightened out. Oh nah, we can't do it all the way out there. It's too far away and ain't enough houses close enough together for us. So you're gonna have to come either move closer in the city and shit, or you just gonna have to do what you gotta do. And you're like, man, what the fuck you mean? Nah, I ain't doing that. So, you say, fuck yeah, we just said our shit just ain't gonna be like that. Your kids like, what you mean?
So eventually you gonna
in town, nigga.
So eventually
in town, you know how people say that shit, man. Your shit slow, nigga. What's up with your Wi-Fi, nigga? You know what I'm saying?
So eventually,
and if you go to McDonald's and shit, and they got all this shit 5G'd up, nigga, and your shit is like woo woo. Your shit is like damn, nigga. You can't even swipe fast enough, nigga. And you get back to the house and your shit is like, oh man, oh mommy, man, fuck your phone. You know what I'm saying? Your kid's like, nah, fuck this shit, I'm moving out.
so eventually, what that is saying is that you're gonna have to give in, right? If you want that.
It's just gonna be one of those, that's just one example, nigga.
That's one example. Right. We're just giving examples of shit. So
and like I'm saying, okay, back to the whole conservative.
Let me put this out. Let me say this.
Just conservative thing, man.
All
right.
Because I want to talk about this analogy that you put out. You know what I'm saying? What you gonna say about the conservative?
You gonna be able to remember?
Yeah, just remember what you were saying about, you know what I'm saying, about the 5G.
About being conservative.
Yeah, about giving in to allowing this to happen.
Right.
Allowing it to happen. Go ahead. Right. Now, what was you saying about the conservative?
Yeah, that's the whole. These motherfuckers understand that shit. These motherfuckers ain't gonna be doing it, moving closer to the city shit, because they get it. It's just gonna be what the fuck it is, kids. Our shit ain't gonna be fast like that shit. Or, somehow they gonna be able to, do the tower. And I don't know how that whole thing works. If you give a nigga 5 towers in his yard and shit, you get super fast. Woo woo. You know what I'm saying? I don't know how that whole shit is. But as far as that whole, you ain't gonna be included in this whole thing living that far away. So you're gonna have to bring your ass to the city. so you can get some of this goddamn Wi-Fi and shit, or you just gonna have to, your kids just gonna have to be mad and shit. These motherfuckers that know what's going on, they ain't moving. They gonna have to pretty much kick them out their fucking house, and there's gonna be war and all that shit. That's me, really. I'm conservative. That's how I see it. But they all racist as fuck. So it's like, fuck, where do I go? I don't want to be a coon, nigga. I agree with a lot of the shit y'all say, because I see it too. But why the fuck y'all gotta be racist? I can't feel safe living in the country with these crackers, man. I feel the same way they do, but I can't even live around them motherfuckers because they'll fucking hang me and shit. You know what I'm saying? That whole thing. So go back to what you were saying.
What I was saying was that would make people or force them to be like, look, we can't keep, our children are falling behind. We're gonna have to let them come in and put these towers up.
Yeah, that's how.
So who determined the value of this and that? Because you were talking about even Mansa Musa went around, you know what I'm saying, giving out his riches. Mm-hmm. So who determined this and that? You know, because the devil even talked to Jesus. So who determines whether this 5G? Well, I guess we already kind of know.
You talking more so what's right and wrong. What's the right way and the wrong way? We was talking about how. That's what I'm saying. Goddamn, context was important, man. The point of the whole thing was, I don't know how to fit into this conversation. That was a whole different conversation, man. We was talking about
being disingenuous and the written agenda.
We was talking about how, like, nuclear is something that some nigga figured out some shit about splitting atoms and shit and realized that we can get a whole lot of energy from these little fucking atoms and shit. We blow them little atoms up and we get mad power. We gonna use this shit. Eventually, or however long throughout the process, they figured out that shit will also blow up some shit, like some real shit. At this point, I think nuclear power plants is all about making bombs and shit. That's my opinion.
That brings me to a story that since you said that, my man was talking yesterday, a couple of days ago, working on the car, and he was talking about electric cars. He's like, you know, them batteries don't last long. What the fuck they gonna do with them batteries? They ain't even thought about that.
What you mean do with the batteries?
They lithium.
Yeah.
That's fucking them some nuclear
how you
shit.
Dispose of it?
How you gonna dispose of that shit?
They don't give a fuck. What you mean? They've been using lithium for a long time. Nigga.
It just made me think about that when you said that. He was talking about how you gonna dispose of these batteries.
They don't care about that shit. Fucking nuclear power got half-lives of fucking centuries, nigga. Like, that shit will never go away. They don't give a fuck about that. That's how you know these motherfuckers is nuts. And that also goes back into the whole, who determined what's the right way of going about things? These motherfuckers with nuclear power, if I had any power in the whole thing, I wouldn't fuck with nuclear. I would say get rid of all that shit because the risk ain't worth the motherfucking reward. We don't know, but we do know. The whole thing is we know at this point what that shit do. I don't need no fucking phone and shit. We can go back to the old way of doing things, far I'm concerned. Because we know what the fuck we know. I don't have to call a motherfucker in Africa and be able to see him on the screen and shit. That ain't necessary. That's some old crazy shit. I don't need to see videos and shit. I don't need to do all this old bullshit. And they're gonna think we need that shit.
A lot of shit they make.
Man, you better take your cell phone. You better take your cell phone if you're gonna leave the house. Fuck that phone. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, but how we gonna be able to call you? You can't. You can't. You fucking can't. It wasn't that long ago when you just couldn't can't. You can't, nigga. I'll call you when I get somewhere or something.
Hey, let's talk about that.
What?
Let's talk about a lot of things that they making us.
This motherfucker call you while you're in that. Cause I ain't fucking want to.
Let's talk about that.
Why you didn't text me back? I seen the text and I wasn't interested in none of that shit.
The video you sent me, my man was talking about the patriarchy.
What?
My man was talking about the patriarchy.
What about it?
About how the women of the Confederate daughters.
God damn it! We gotta do this. What's the word? Segue, nigga. How you just gonna stop this conversation and just go to some old new shit?
I said let's talk about that. I said let's talk about that.
What about it? Context, nigga. I gotta figure out where that whole point was, and then the discussion was like, I remember the textbooks and shit. They write the textbooks. The motherfuckers lost, and they letting them write the textbooks, nigga. I know y'all lost the shit and y'all races is all fucked, but we gonna let y'all write the books that these kids gotta use to study, learn and shit.
That's what you was talking about. We was talking about giving them something, making them take something that they don't want, or not that they don't want, that they don't really need. You know what I'm saying? Forcing them in, not forcing them into it, but luring them into taking things that they don't need, and that goes with the daughters of the Confederacy.
What about it?
How they my man was talking about how they the dude you sent me the dude with the glasses.
Was he talking about daughters of Confederacy?
Yeah.
What did he say?
When he was talking about how they no.
I told you that.
He wasn't talking about that. He was talking about
critical race theory.
He was talking about how they came up with the thing where women had to go to work.
The funky
women had to go to work. They had to leave their house to go to work, but they let the white women not work and stay at home with their kids, and while your kid is at home and you at work. And you know how it used to be, the men go out get the money, the woman stay home take care of the kids, but they had made a legislation that women had to go. Black women had to go to work. Go to work. Women, you can't stay at home.
Man, that had nothing to do with what we was just talking about. Though.
No, it didn't. But because I was talking about the other thing, when that's what he was talking about, patriarchy.
Hey, we gonna have to
Well, we was talking about.
You can't just do that, man. It ain't got shit to do with the other shit. All right, but what?
I was talking about the article you sent me about.
Yeah, we're gonna have to work on that, man.
The article you sent me about
the writing textbooks and shit.
Was that about the textbooks?
You stop me from, I'll be gonna roll, nigga. You stop me and then just go on some other shit.
No, it wasn't about the textbook. It was about it says local Memphis. The lessons of the United Daughters of the Confederacy still have influence today in the Mid-South. Basically making you accept the fact that we putting our Confederate statues up and we're gonna tell the story how we gonna tell the story from our point of view.
How crazy is that? What that have to do with anything?
It goes back to what you were saying about accepting things like you're luring you into the story the way they want to tell it, making you accept it. You're gonna accept these statues being up, and we got legislation saying that they gonna stay up. Us women who lost soldiers, white soldiers in the war.
They lost the war. What you mean?
But that's what I'm saying. And they lost. Yeah, they lost the war, but still, their statues stand today. So basically, they stand for the whole. They stand on the lie. They stand on the lie that they tell you. They don't give a fuck about no white, no black woman. They don't give a fuck about no white, no black man. We stand on this lie that's being told, that we have put together. Like it was good for us. For who? Not for us. Not for niggas.
Oh, so you adopting the word now all of a sudden.
I'm just saying, not for niggas. It might be good for you. But how are you even able to stand on it knowing that it's some bullshit? How are your descendants able to stand on it knowing it's some bullshit.
They don't know. Some of them don't know.
Okay. So they don't know about the Daughters of the Confederacy. You don't think they know? You don't think they know their history? That's the thing. They know their history because it's still happening today.
A lot of them don't know. They know the same history we know. They got taught in the same schools we got taught in. Now, the other white people, they got a little power and shit. They got a little money going to private schools and shit. I don't know what the fuck they teaching them kids. You know what I'm saying? How can kids be getting a whole different curriculum in school? Public to private. Learning completely different histories and shit. How did I work? I don't know. That's what I'm saying. That's what's amazing to me is how the fuck they keep up with their lives and shit. Separating lies from the truth. Mason shit, like a Mason, like to be in that organization, they're getting a whole different history than the people who ain't in that getting. You know what I'm saying? People got different interpretations of how things happen. But somewhere there's a place where there's a right and a wrong. This place determines what's true history and all the other shit they believe is all bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Who the fuck is those people that determine, with all these different realities going around, people walking around with a whole different, you know, people that's Cherokee have a whole different history that they understand of it being than somebody who was brought up in a public school. Like these niggas like, yo, we Cherokee off the rip, and that's all there is to it. Like my parents and grandparents, we always been on that. Then how the fuck, if I'm the same thing as you, how the fuck have I never heard that? You know, there's people, I know people who understand it and always understood it. Their relatives don't know it, don't have no idea. And for them to say it is like, okay, nigga. Then niggas come up with documents, it's like, oh, for real? Like, so I've been the same thing as you the whole time, but they've been teaching me that I'm a whole different other thing. But we the same thing. You know what I'm saying? Does that even make sense? Niggas got all these religions. Hebrew Israelite, I believe I'm this. You know, I believe I'm a, you know, Aboriginal. Or, you know, indigenous. I'm indigenous to this place. You know, I believe I'm from Africa. You know, I believe, Asiatic. But there's somebody around somewhere that really know the true history, but they're not the authority on who dictates that. Like Jeopardy, right? I watch Jeopardy. I love Jeopardy and shit. And they always, since I was young, man, like I used to always wonder, like, how the fuck do they know? My bad. Damn, I'm sorry. I used to always say, how the fuck he know? You talking about history, 18, such and such. Like, what the fuck you know? How is one answer wrong and one answer right? Like, something that happened 200 years ago. Especially knowing what I know now. Like, how they just rewrite the shit. Just change shit and blah, blah. But there's an authority. Like, there's somebody in the back who say, ding! Correct. How the fuck you know? Who do you go to determine that? I need to talk to them niggas. Then you get to them niggas like, how the fuck you know? Let me see what you got in the garage and in the motherfucking basement and shit. Oh shit. You got a whole bunch of stolen shit that's rewrote as some other shit, and you the motherfucker that determine what's right and what's wrong? When you lying and shit? You know what I'm saying? Museums and shit. There's, you know, motherfuckers that curators and shit who know all the history, know all the history, but a lot of these museums got shit that's stolen and rewritten and, shit that's hidden and shit. You can't keep some shit not true, or you can't keep some shit. In order to lie about a little bit, you gotta change other truths to accommodate that lie. If you got some African shit in the basement, down in the basement, and the motherfucking, covered up and preserved and shit, that was done 500 years before this motherfucker who claimed to be the first to do it. You gotta change up a whole lot of shit to make that accommodate.
So you sent me the link to that Daughters of the Confederacy.
Right.
That's the only one you sent me.
Yeah. That was about the textbooks. You read the shit?
Yeah.
The article was just about how.
It's not that long of an article.
Just about how they.
And then you sent
Somehow
me
they've had
that Spotify. I didn't get to see that one. I didn't get to hear that one. What was that about?
Why would they leave that in those motherfuckers' hands? Just don't make sense. Huh?
You didn't say nothing about that Spotify. What was that about? I didn't really get to pay attention to that.
What was it?
I don't know. I didn't get to pay attention to it. I didn't have time. Then you sent something about the gay manifesto.
Yeah, man, all this shit got there's context to it. Like, it's bigger discussions. We was talking about something.
It's when you were talking about BLM.
I don't remember what the bigger conversation was. I don't.
Oh no, not like how all these organizations are being ran by Democratic support, and how the two Democrat and Republican bounce their racist ideals off each other. That's basically how what we were talking about. How they bounce their racist ideals, off of each other's platforms of Democratic and Republican. The liberal has no chance.
The what?
The liberal, he's out of the picture, or he's just there just for show.
What that mean?
I mean, shit, they ain't never gave no liberal a chance.
Chance of what?
To really put his ideas out there on the table, to express it, to enact their ideals.
Which mean liberal? Black Lives Matter?
Like the Liberal Party. What is it? Liberal Party, or is it
it's Democrats, man.
That's what the majority of black society vote for. There's a lot of bullshit. And we're a little over an hour in. Think we touched on some things? Or something else you want to add?
What is that liberal shit about?
The what?
The Liberal Party. Democrats shit.
What is it about?
Do you think they just figure? I mean, I look at it like. They gotta do something with us, so They gotta look at it as they created a way for us to be, you know, more of a benefit, you know, profit loss whole thing, you know, we worth more than, you know, it's not a zero, you know. They found a way to get more out of us than they lose, in their opinion. Like, I don't know that whole slave story. I don't know, man. I don't know no more. You know what I'm saying? That whole history. I see why.
Let me ask you this: do you see bigger slaves now than than what the book say? You see them? See bigger slavery going on now?
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's like, if you agree on a story and make other motherfuckers believe it because it benefits you, like, you know, first of all, how does it benefit? Like, I don't understand the game no more. You look at the story of Wilmington. That story we talked about a couple. Like, there was a time when we all coexisted. You know? And then some white people said, fuck this. I don't like how things is going. We gonna do this. And fucked it up for us. You know what I'm saying? Like, you try to see them as humans, and we kind of all in the same thing, but then the overall just trumped that whole thing. Like, I know white people I could coexist with, and, you know, probably, you know, I've met white people in my life where if we was kids when we met, we could probably live a whole lifetime and always get along and never have no problems, and die old and still was cool and never had no beef and shit, you know. But at the same time, you look at the history and it's like, fuck, like, how are those things able to happen at the same time? I don't even know if this shit makes sense. It makes sense to me. I'm trying to figure this shit out.
I think a lot of people are. So you gotta remember who you're dealing with, and what's being said, what's being said, and what we are now from what we learned about from back then. A lot of people trying to figure it out.
Like, what the fuck do Israel think is gonna happen? They just gonna do what they doing and people gonna leave them alone at some point? Like, white people here, like, I figure if we just keep on going, eventually they'll just say the hell with it and leave it alone. I guess we kind of getting there though. Most people was willing to say, fuck it, just let me live my life. I know they fucking us and all some shit, killing us when they want, but we gotta live a certain life. But fuck it, man, just try to stay alive, nigga.
That's about the basis of it. So what? Stay alive, nigga. Stay alive until you can find something better.
I'm just saying, what's the point? What's the fuck is going on? Is it even worth the fight? Then, like, you know, all people got to deal with certain truths in their life. choose whether to just deal with it or be mad or whatever the fuck, or fight against it or whatever the fuck.
I would definitely like to see some people chime in and let us know if they feel like it's worth the fight. You know, cause we on here every week putting content together, trying to understand this thing ourselves. And I like to. I mean, I know a few people who also, speak on certain things like we do, but it would definitely, the conversation needs to be had, because you don't know what's to come, and you know something coming. You know something gonna happen, cause like I say, every 11 years is something, man. And it's like, why does it have to be something? Why does it have to be this? Why is this? What is this going on? Why is this happening? So, man, we, like I say, we're a little under an hour, man, a little over an hour, right? About an hour and 20 or something. So
yeah, man. I don't fucking know, man.
Say the children, man.
But it do help when people do.
What's that?
It help when other people show that they care and make it more worthwhile.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I know how it feel to have an idea in your head, a thought in your head, and be like, turn around and want to say some shit, like, build on some shit, and be like, nah, that motherfucker don't care about that shit. Nah, he probably don't care about that shit either. And be like, fuck it.
Lost on the island.
Yeah.
Island by yourself.
That whole thing. But when you do run into people who, like, I see what you're saying, it's like, I know people like that, so it's like, but, but it's more, to me it's, I get, I guess, inspired when I hear other people talking about shit that I be on. But it don't happen that often. I gotta search it out. You know what I'm saying?
This dog gotta start barking.
Alright.
Yeah, man. Like I say, we're gonna We're gonna keep paying attention, keep coming with some information and real talk about this, about what's happening in America. We keep trying to save the children. Peace, love, and hair grease, man.